there.
Hey!
So happy to be at Outspoken. So, I was in a relationship for 18 years, and then I wasn't. And I decided I needed to make up for lost time. So at the time, I went on Match.com because Match.com was the thing. I am that old. And as I filled out my profile picture, they asked me questions like, are you thin? Are you average? Are you curvy? And sadly, there wasn't a box for, have you let yourself go? I filled it out to the best of my ability, and they ask you, all kinds of other questions. What do you like? Do you like swimming? Sure, I like swimming, whatever, let's get on with it. So the ding started to come in. Ding, she likes you. I love that sound, still to this day. Match.com is no more, but I love it. And so I noticed that all of the lesbians were taking pictures in their cars. And I thought it was a bit strange, but then when I dated a few people, they told me, well, it's because the light is better. And I know, a lot of gay men are here, and maybe you're like me, I'm thinking, don't you have a friend who could take a picture of you outdoors in the sunlight? Anywho, so I gave nicknames to all the women that I dated so that my friends could keep them straight. So the first woman I dated was FBI Wendy. She was secretive. And as we went on a few dates, I realized she was at the CPD and she was a detective, so she needed to be secretive. But as we were out, her ex was also a cop, and she would text and phone all night long for cop advice. I didn't know they did this, but I decided maybe this isn't a good match, and I moved on to Julia Child. She was a big bone lesbian. And she knew everything, maybe too much for me, so I decided that wasn't a match either. And I really wasn't dating close to home because my ex was a therapist, so I went on another date, and I got halfway through the date, and it was in the Oak Park, Forest Park area where I live. And sadly, shockingly, we both realized that my ex was her therapist. That was the end of that relationship. And I was starting to think, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I need to do something else. So I took a little time off, and about 8-9 months go by, and I decided that I'm not organically just meeting people at the grocery store. Now, I went to Home Depot, all the guys wanted to pick me up, but not the chicks. So I got back on Match, and I took new profile pictures because I hate people who lie, who have a profile picture from 20 years prior, right? So I got back on Match, I took new pictures. I want to think I looked better than I did at first. I don't know yet. But anywho, I looked at the profile and I thought, okay, I'm okay with racquetball and swimming and all of this stuff. And in the time I'd gotten off Match, it changed a bit. And they had the algorithms. And then when it would ding and people liked me or they would wink at me, the only thing we had in common was swimming, and we were born in the same month. And I thought, this is not a lot to go on. I'm not sure this is going to work out, but I'm not a quitter. So the ding comes in, ding, she likes you. And the profile loads, and as I've mentioned, I'm a little older, and it took a while for the pictures to load back then. So those of you who get to see it immediately are really lucky. So the first one shows up, and she's a mechanic, she's a smoker, and she's a swimmer, of course. And as her picture loads, she's got like a blue mechanic shirt on with a patch with her name, and she looks like Rizzo from Greece. And I'm like, she's cute. Maybe I can date a smoker who's a swimmer. I don't know. And so the next thing, as the picture loads more fully, she's holding something. And I think, is she holding a cat? And she's looking at it lovingly. And it's a raccoon. Now, I've been a lesbian a long time. So I swipe left. I think that's what you do when you reject people. Anywho, so the next one, a week goes by, and the only people liking me are these swimmers, and born in November. So I keep passing on them. Another ding, she likes you. Picture starts to load. It's the lesbian equivalent of Jerry Garcia. She's got curly hair, glasses, she's wearing a Grateful Dead tie-dye t-shirt. And in her profile, she has the cleverest thing ever. She says her favorite date of the year is 420. And I thought that's really funny. about the same time. So then, all of a sudden, the profile loads, and you know it. She's holding a raccoon. 2 lesbians, 2 weeks, 2 raccoons. And the raccoon's kind of smiling, and she's kind of smiling, and I'm like, wow, this is so strange. So I pass on. Now, I've got about a week and a half left in my subscription, and I'm not a quitter, so I figure I'll stick around till the bitter end and see what happens. So the last day, I get a ding, she likes you. I wait, I go home, I pour myself a generous glass of red wine, and as the profile loads, I see her. She's the perfect lesbian, sporty spice. She's got a vest, she's got glasses, short hair, she loves moonlight walks, gardening, and red wine. But as the picture loads, she's holding something. She's kind of cradling it and looking down as if she loves it, like a baby. And it's a fucking raccoon. I wish I had the picture because I know it's hard to believe. But it's the truth. And I thought to myself, why? How? What kind of hello am I putting out into the world that the only people who like me are swimmers and raccoon-loving lesbians? So I go back and I look at the raccoon and the pictures of these women, and the raccoon looks familiar. Like it looks like it could be the same raccoon. But then I think, you're not a raccoon handler. You don't know. All raccoons look the same. So I decided maybe I need to get off of Match.com. And I decided to try meetups, because why not? You know, I could get some exercise, meet new people, maybe make some friends. And so I go, the first meetup I go to is up in Andersonville, and it's a lesbian adult coloring book group. Now, why I went to this, maybe it was a raccoon PTSD, I don't know. It's 9 a.m. on a Sunday, you color for 2 hours, and you have coffee, and lesbians talk nonstop. It's your basic nightmare. So I went, and I discovered that I don't really like to color with other people. I don't like to color for 2 hours. I don't like to color on Sunday morning. So I didn't go back. But if any of you do think that that's your cup of tea, it's still going on. They've been coloring for 11 years. It happens every Sunday. So then I went to a kayak meetup, and I thought I'll get some fresh air. And I get there, and it's me and 9 women who are in a lesbian posse. Anybody know what a lesbian posse is? Yeah, right? And if you're in it, I'm not here to judge. It's okay if it works for you. If you don't know, it's women who are, maybe they're couples, maybe they were with somebody before, maybe they're looking to be with somebody else, but it's a good group of friends. And we get out on the kayaks in the water, and this woman yells, hey, who wants to get high? And it's Sunday morning at 11. Like, I don't have anything against getting high, but I'm also in a kayak, and I'm not a good swimmer. I don't care what my Match profile says. I'm more of a floater. So, I was almost done with the meetups, feeling a little lost, I have to be honest. But then I saw a meetup at the Irish Times in Brookfield. And it's a cool Irish bar, and the Bears were playing, so you know they're going to lose. So I thought, I'll go have a beer, meet some people. I get my beer in the front, I go and I'm looking for the group, and I figure they're in back. So as I walk in, I see ball cap, ponytail, mullet. I know that's my people. But as I walk into the room and I make eye contact, I realize that I have been on a date with at least half of the people in the room. One date usually. I'm like horrified. But they've seen me, I've seen them. I'm thinking we can do hard things. And the first woman comes up, and I went on a couple dates with her. She was from kayaking, introduced me to her girlfriend. I'm like, great, people are bringing their girlfriends, perfect. Second woman, been on one date with her, she introduces me to her girlfriend. And I'm thinking I can do this. And I walk around, I'm talking to people. I get done, pretty much done with my beer. The Bears are already down by 2 touchdowns, go figure. And I go to the bathroom, and then I'm going to leave. So as I walk out of the bathroom, Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire is playing on the jukebox. Yeah. And these women are walking towards me in a semicircle. Like a lesbian posse, like an old Western. And the woman who was my ex's therapy client says, you know, we were all talking, and we realized we've been on a date with you never got in contact with us again. And I think it was my sales experience because I had a moment. And I said, I was in the bathroom thinking the same thing. You didn't call, you didn't write. And there was a moment of just silence, and it was perfect. And then we all burst out laughing. And these two women on my left said, we've never been on a date with you. And I said, ladies, let's get a beer.